Alright everyone, it is I, VRChat Star Valentine, and today is a stream that is finally gonna be all entertainment and no, big VTuber Mudahar. Yes, that's right, it's finally a stream where I am not going to be talking about boring, serious stuff. Or, well, okay, some more serious stuff might come up. I do have, maybe a few Abby updates I do want to go over. Alright, Vix is doing its usual rounds of fuckery. But it's way less this time. Alright, we're good. But yeah, there is some serious shit I do want to go over. Mainly some more Abby updates. Because I did get the Salem mostly working. However, I am not going to show it on stream. Because I still gotta get the facial expressions worked out and all that. But yeah, other than that, it's mostly gonna be entertainment. Majority of the stream. Now, tonight we are looking at the map we are looking at right now is the FNAF Security Breach Ruin Underground Pizzeria. Which yeah, needless to say, this map is actually the final part of FNAF Security Breach Ruin DLC, and is a full rip of that final part, and complete with like it's got a few of the animations here or there, but it doesn't have the mimic or any of that, but it does have at least some of the shit actually working for the original game. So yeah. Yeah, at least it does have some of it, even if not all of it is there. So that's pretty alright. Now, because this is a very this final part is extremely linear, and also the Underground Pizzeria was technically also the final part of the original FNAF Security Breach game as well, as where Afton's body, or the mimic that was pretending to be it, more on that later, because that's where things get super bullshitty, was being kept by whoever owed the Freddy Fazbear franchise and the Pizzaplex after the death of the Afton family. Except for Clara, who is still a big question mark as to what she's doing in the story. But yeah, it was where they were kept and presumably experimented on to try to bring them back to life. Again, that's where things get a little weird. But yeah, it's yeah, all sorts of shit just gets very, very weird. When we actually go to the story, and it's where the story of Ruin, like, alright, shit was kind of hand wavy, especially with the whole AR stuff. But this is where the story of Ruin and really Greater Security Breach just takes a turn for the absolute, well, away from the already pretty ho-hum to the what the actual fuck levels of bad. So, yeah. Um, yeah, needless to say, when I go over the lore, don't expect me to have any good comments on it. Or don't expect me to have very many good comments on it. Because, as I expressed numerous times before, my opinion on the lore of this DLC is that it's actually weaker than the original Security Breach lore. The original Security Breach lore had a lot of plot holes in it already, like, who the fuck brought back, Fazbear Entertainment in the first place and all that, but yeah, Yeah, the minute you step off this elevator, it just goes into it just goes from already pretty like I don't know how that actually fucking works to what the actual fuck levels here. So yeah, just keep that in mind. But yeah, well, let's get into this. Let's actually do this here. So first up, I want to get all the serious shit out of the way. So as you heard, I got the Salem Abbey working for Sarah. Now, because the original one was taken down due to DMCA reasons and not due to anything else, yeah, it was all DMCA from the original creator itself. I am not going to try making it public. Instead, I might hopefully either A, give it to someone else who has the balls to actually do that, or B, just keep it for myself and then make a public version on a different alt account, or C, just give it to him directly. Probably C because, yeah. With Tupper back at the helm, VRChat security has been a lot, more prepared than ever. And things have been getting a little crazy with that. Granted, it's a lot better than, it's not, terribly, terribly bad, but it is a lot more, yeah, they are getting a lot tougher with DMCA shit after the whole summer of ripping thing going on. Which I like. I do like that they are actually, putting their foot down and saying this cannot continue. At least they are trying to make a good change in the right direction. I don't know if it's gonna be too impactful because, people are still gonna public upload paid abbeys and rip them no matter what, but they are making a change in the right direction, and that is what is important here. So yeah, that's about it. Is that yeah, I'm gonna try to give it to him directly, probably. Probably say it over Discord, maybe, and yeah, that's pretty much it. As far as that shit goes. So yeah, with all that out of the way, let's actually get into this. So, yeah, this is where you come in right here, is this elevator. Now, apparently there's a super long cutscene here where it shows Cassie crying for an entire hour. Well, okay, for an entire 5 minutes at most. Not an entire hour. That was hyperbole. And I gotta say, that is a little, my god, even for horror games, that is extremely dramatic. Usually, crying only lasts for 1 minute, but no, this was drawn out a lot, and that I will say is very good. Actually showing the impact that, her having to kill Roxanne had on her for a lot longer, and showing that it actually had a lot of gravity and a lot of weight to it is a really good thing. And showing the scale of those events is really good, and something that a lot of horror games do have a problem getting across. Like you know like what's a good example here? What's a good example? Oh yeah, Joey Drew's death in Bay of the Dark Revival, which I loved the game Bay of the Dark Revival. The story was fucking amazing. The voice acting work, all of them did so well. But, a lot of the deaths do illustrate the problem. And that is that, Like in the Alice Angel death. Like, she didn't cry for like 4 minutes. No, she just cried for not even a few seconds and then just, completely regained her composure. Um, Joey Drew's death. Like, Audrey Drew cried out. She screamed no, and then immediately regained her composure. Like it does, like the deaths are handled in a very, 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 standard and very tropey way. Whereas Roxanne's death was not handled in this tropey manner at all. It was handled in a very, very detailed manner and in a manner that actually showed the impact of Cassidy having to kill her. And that, I think, is a nice change of pace from the tropey ass way that a lot of other games handle deaths, and that's pretty cool. But yeah, this is the entry elevator that you go down. And I mean, again, it's not, you know, doesn't really redeem the story all that much, but it is at least, nice to talk about the fact that they actually did try to, like, handle deaths in a nice way that actually shows the impact and scale of their actions a lot more than a lot of our games did. That is at least pretty good. Now, as you see here, the earthquake caused, the earthquake that the collapse of the original pizzeria did, or the original battle did, caused a lot more shit to fall. So the sign is completely gone. This giant bear head's out here. And now we have a little tunnel that we have to go through to actually enter it. And honestly, fuck, I am stuck again. That's nice. There we go. And honestly, that could have just been cut out of the port altogether. Like, they could have just made that like a quick teleport. Just because, as you saw earlier, it just doesn't work. Like a little, like squeezing into little caves and shit just doesn't fucking work all that well in VRChat because, collider differences and engine differences, and the fact that the logic is just not set up when you rip the map. So, yeah, they could have just made that a little teleport, but, yeah, it's alright. It's good enough. I will say that the caves, even in the original game, looked beautiful. In the OG, in fact, this would actually look way better. Not gonna lie. And there's where I believe Gregory and Frey entered last time. Or the first game, anyway. As you can see, the damage was not just to the outside. No, it spread inside too. There are boxes everywhere. Entire shelves are knocked over. Half the lights don't even work. Like, tons of shit was damaged when the quakes erupted, and a lot more of the facility came down, unfortunately. Which, yeah, that is not good at all. And like, it does really... Though the continuity of the original game is really fucked up and really screwed up, it does illustrate the fact that, it does illustrate the fact that, during the battle, a lot of shit was damaged. A lot of shit was destroyed, and more than 90% of the more than 90% of like the main area have basically just, or more than 90% of the pizzeria at this point, the original pizzeria, have basically just been just collapsed in on and flood and all that. And I think that's really nice because, it helps cement the fact that, something big happened here before that destroyed the pizzeria, that destroyed the Pizzaplex. And that something big that happened was, of course, Gregory facing what they thought was William Afton originally. And originally, at first, it was actually William Afton. Surprise, surprise. Until they changed it with that mimic shit. But more on that later. More on that way later. Oh yeah, this little guy actually played a pretty important role in the story. Yeah, apparently you had to like hack into him or something to like figure out the rest of it. Now this right here, this is where the quote-unquote Afton boss fight took place, as you can see from the flame jets on the floor and everything else. And also, this is where this door would technically lead to where Gregory and Frey were earlier. The problem being that Gregory and Frey have, one, long abandoned that area, two, yeah, the area is no longer even accessible. It collapsed in two. Which is kind of sad, but, you know. But, one thing I do want to kind of note is, one, as you can see, the monitor here has purple static. Now, I may be no computer technician, well, I sort of am. Again, I am only a professional dumbass on stream. I am actually a mega nerd IRL. But static should not be normally purple. And this indicates that something else had taken control of this monitor or this computer during that time, probably the Mimic or some other entity. And number two, just from the fact that there were literal flamethrowers on the floor, it was fairly obvious that, whoever was experimenting with Afton or the Mimic or whatever, was expecting something to go horribly fucking wrong. And obviously installed those so that if something did go awry, they could just burn them. Or burn whatever it was. And that's kind of what I'm thinking those are for. Is mainly as a last-ditch security measure by whoever was, doing all these weird experiments in case something actually gone wrong and caused, like some kind of mass casualty scenario, or rather to intercept it before it could cause said mass casualty scenario. Or that's pretty much what I'm thinking those are for. Now, you might notice these weird tanks over here. To be honest, I'm not really sure what those are. But if I am reading into the FNAF lore correctly, they must be some form of remnant tank. as evidenced by, one, the fact that the remnant-based charger here, which, by the way, it's been pretty much confirmed that none of the animatronics use normal batteries, that they all use weird blue remnant-based shit. Or at least that's what I think anyway. And number two, and more importantly, is the fact that it is, that, what else would they be storing down here? You know? Like, what the fuck else would they be storing down this, little area where they're experimenting with, remnant-based animatronic technologies? And it would also make sense because, when you think about it, like, to preserve what they thought was Afton, they knew that they would need a lot of remnant. So where would you store that remnant? You would store it in, big-ass tanks. Pretty simple. At least as far as that goes. Now, down here is where it all starts to fall apart. Because one, is revealed that Maxis, the enemy we were fighting this entire time, was nothing more than an advanced security system that was part of Fazbear Entertainment for a very fucking long time, and only assumed its bunny form because it had been transformed by, one, the fact that it was abandoned, and two, sent to overdrive specifically to prevent the escape of the Mimic, which is stored there. And, so yeah, that is the first big thing, because, everyone thought it was gonna be the big antagonist, but no, it turned out it wasn't. In fact, it was actually an anti-hero, and its intentions were perfectly good. In fact, its intentions were purely good. It was trying to keep Mimic down. But alas, poor little Cassie didn't listen, and it came back to bite her. Big time, I might add. Now, one unfortunate thing is that I did wish that that you could actually view the rest of the area in the AR mode, like the rest of the map in the AR mode, but I don't know. Must have been an oversight with the developers, I guess, when they ported it over, which I think is kind of unfortunate, but whatever. Whatever. And also, another big issue is, too, how they even get the forklift down here. And who even had a fucking forklift down here? Because this place has not been accessed. Because, way back when it was being rebuilt, they didn't even consider this place. Like, they only considered, like, the top parts, rebuilding the actual Pizzaplex. And most likely didn't even consider this. So how do they even get, one, the little wrench thing down here that Cassie activates to send the forklift crashing through? And two, or rather, who got it down there? And two, who got the forklift down there in the first place? And really, why? Why did they get the forklift down there in the first place? Like, that is never elaborated on. That is never, ever elaborated on, even once in the story. And it seems to just be there more for gameplay reasons than anything else. And yeah, that's a little like that's our first big issue. And really the bigger issue is one of the fact that, well, no, I'll save it for the end. Here's where we come face to face with the Mimic, and they got this part very, very well. I mean, yeah, the textures are lower res due, Unity bullshit, but rather due to the fact that, Unity isn't as high fidelity as Unreal when it comes to textures, so you gotta turn shit down. But it's still really, really good. And yeah, they got it down pretty accurately for sure. Oh, well, Chica? Doesn't look like her. I don't know who that character is. But yeah, after that, then Cassie would be chased into the tunnels, which, God, admit, the tunnels are a little bit smaller than in the original game. Well, actually, no, it's not the tunnels are smaller, it's that, something much bigger, us, is in them. Nah, if our Abby was like 4'8", which is the size of an average human being, the protagonist stage, then it will look a lot bigger. But since we're average height, or my God Runner is average height, which by the way, yes, I am still using my God Runner for this stream. Since it is average height, no. No, we're much bigger than Cassie actually is. Now, real quickly, I'm gonna go over each of the endings individually and talk about what I think happened, because some of the lore behind them just either doesn't add up or is just strange as fuck. So I'm probably going to be so yeah, that's pretty much my angle is I'm gonna go through each of them and I'm gonna talk about, what happened with them and really my thoughts on what they all mean. And that's pretty much what I'm gonna do. So, yeah, that's pretty much my end goal here. As far as I'm concerned here, so yeah. Yeah, that's pretty much what I'm gonna do. Because yeah, some of them are a bit more easy to comprehend, while others are just holy shit. So we're gonna start with the first ending, which is the good question mark ending. And that is the ending where you go into the elevator and also, real quick, I should talk about this room. This room here, oh my god, is like the lighting is just mwah, mwah. Even for a Unity rip of it, mwah. I mean, yeah, the fan is a little off center. Maybe they will come back and fix that later on. But other than that, it's really, really good. and really accurate to the original game, which is something I definitely like. I like it when, you know, when maps are at least, accurate to the original game if they are like ports or rips or something. And plus, I do like the general aesthetic of the entire underground pizzaplex or the underground pizzeria in general. Like, it's a ruined kind of like, kind of reminds me of Fallout 4, like the abandoned buildings from Fallout 4 that were destroyed in the war. Um, like how when the nukes hit and when everyone was burned alive as nuclear missiles from both sides hit, bombarded the Earth. Many buildings were abandoned and left kind of like this. And it's this kind of emulates that. Only it doesn't involve a nuclear war and or any military conflict for that matter. Instead, just simply involves just well, actually, it involves a lot more super robot. I guess is the word for it. Like a lot more high fantasy esque. Well, no, just normal fantasy, not high fantasy. Um, where an evil robot is brought back to life and what happens cause them. And the explosion triggered inside the pizzeria to burn him alive causes him to cause the entire pizzaplex above and all that to start caving into. Uh, but same aesthetic is what I'm trying to convey here. So yeah, on to the first ending. The first ending is the one that I'm pretty sure is the good ending. So you have to first hack these here. And once you hack this door, the elevator will open and it will slowly close. Now, this is where Cassie, or rather Gregory, contacts again. And he says that he generally does not know what that thing is. And that he rigged Mexis specifically to keep it under lock and key to make sure that didn't come out and try to kill everyone and become a threat to the entire Earth. And then he, skulls Cassidy for listening to it and for and for letting it out. And then he just straight up just drops the elevator and just sends her going way to the depths of Pizzeria, saying that no one should know this and that she saw and knew too much and all that. Which, to be honest, I don't really like that ending. Like, though it's a canon ending, as it kind of sets up for a sequel with Roxanne's voice being heard after it. I mean that presumably Roxanne Wolf picked up Cassie somehow. Again, I don't fucking know how. The big problem with this ending is one, you know, is one, the change in Gregory's tone from being very helpful and welcoming to being, I'm sorry, but you know too much, I must drop you, is just, how? Like, what was going on there? Like, was that still really Gregory? Or was that the mimic again? So, yeah, that doesn't make sense. And number two, more importantly, how the fuck did Roxanne Wolf get down there? Like, there was no other entry. There was no other entry whatsoever. No other entry point whatsoever to the underground pizzeria. At least not one that was, not buried under tons of rubble and debris and whatever else from the pizzeria above, or rather for the pizzaplex above. So how did she get down there? Like, it's another Scott Cawthon rule of cool thing. Just like the mimic itself, for that matter, was a rule of cool. And that, where do I even get started on the mimic? Where do I even get started on the big issue? The big, ginormous issue with Ruin, but that's gonna be more for the end. And then the second ending here is where she enters the scoop room and destroys it. Pressing the button and then just completely just watching as it gets scooped out. Now, honestly, I think this would be the preferable ending because, at least it's dead. But as shown, it seems to not be a canon ending, or at least it's not treated as a canon ending, which is a little unfortunate. And really, it would be a lot better if it was the canon ending, only because then you could set up for, her getting rescued or whatever, in a lot more logical fashion than what would happen if she got, sent to the sent all the way down to a layer below the underground pizzeria, which I didn't even know that was fucking possible. But yeah, the scoop room itself looks like, well, it does look somewhat like the FNAF 6 one, or the FNAF 5 rather one, but with some noticeable differences. Number one, it has wood everywhere, indicating that, this was either set up in a very quick fashion, probably as, again, another safety measure in case shit, went wrong, and everything basically fell apart and it tried to kill them. They could just lure it in there, and then, just press a button and boom, they're dead. And number two, and more interestingly, the scoop is a little different. It's a little bit bigger, and the design is also from the ceiling rather than from the floor, which is a little different as well. But yeah, pretty. But yeah, I really like it. I really like the design. It's just got very imposing and very, like, it just has a very good atmosphere to it, and that's what I like. And now, you can see over here, we got even more of these tanks, which directly supports the theory that this is indeed Remnant, their story in here, because, as you know, the scoop machine had two purposes: to repair damaged animatronics and to destroy them, and to inject Remnant into animatronics. Hence why there would be these tanks over here, which, by the way, have sort of steam coming off of them, indicating that they are super chilled, probably, or either that or super hot. Probably to make sure that the Remnant doesn't activate and... Sorry, I was doing something. Probably make sure that the Remnant probably make sure that the remnant does not activate and try to take over, everything it sees. And that's probably why they were kept super hot like this. Which again would be another reason for the flame dispensers on the floor above, was to superheat the remnant in case it tried to take over everything and make everything go haywire and whatnot. Which I think is a nice touch and probably another logical reason why they designed the floors above in that manner. And then we come to this ending. Which, okay, this ending is very fucking weird, and there isn't even a version of it in the port. But to explain it, Cassidy runs into a little PNG here, into a little holographic projection, and then is sucked into a hologram world where she says she's alright and she's hiding. First of all, what the fuck? How does that even work? And second of all, we are not given a visual as to what happens at all. And it's just left completely inconclusive, and it just makes no fucking sense whatsoever. Like, this entire ending, yeah, I don't even know what to say about it. Like, it just, like, the way it's executed doesn't make sense. What it is doesn't make sense. Like, all of it just, yeah, it just doesn't, it just doesn't make any fucking sense whatsoever. And yeah, I don't really know what Steel Wool was thinking there. Like, did they just add that in as like an Easter egg to because the area she ended up in kind of looked like OG like the scene when when Gregory goes out and frees Vanny and they live happily ever after. Like that's kind of the like that's kind of how it looks here, or rather, kind of what it resembles. And so that is what I'm thinking it is anyway. Again, not too conclusive on that, but that's my thoughts on what we're seeing. Um, this is just some little weird Easter egg that is executed in a very very strange and unusual way, but it's an Easter egg nonetheless. Now, as for port complaints, I do wish they add a ladder here, or like some kind of a thing you could click just to get back up, or like a little ramp, because I can't jump back up, unfortunately, which is a little frustrating, not gonna lie, but you know. So yeah, it's a little harder to enter and go back up once you're down here. Like that is a major complaint I do have. Like they seriously need to work on some ramps. Like invisible ramps are imports for a reason. You know, not gonna lie. Like it's kind of important, and they did overlook that, and that is not too good. Uh, but other than that, I really don't have any real complaints. As far as map design and porting and whatnot goes. And also, I realized who these characters are. These are actually the Merry Melodies, as you'll see with the elf on here. Yeah, these are Henry Emily's original Merry Melodies. Before he joined up with William Afton and all that shit went down. And William Afton's son got killed and and went down the path of being the bitter, spiteful, angry, murderous piece of shit he became later on. So yeah. Bitter, spiteful, angry, murderous piece of shit who experiments on kids. I might add, but that's beside the point. And plus, you already kind of knew that. But yeah, the Merry Melodies, by the way, were a band who was around before William Afton and was also the original band that Chica, where before William Afton started up Freddy Fazbear's For Real, and was also the one that Chica was part of. And needless to say, and so what happened to them was when William Afton bought up the company and Henry Emily's help, he um where Bob the company and, made Henry Emily his primary animatronics designer, um, he also incorporated Chica from the Merry Melodies. And that's also the origin of where Chica came from and sort of why she looks a little different compared to the rest of the cast of even the original games, which were all foxes, bunnies, and shit. And yet, she's chicken. Like, that's kind of where that came from. So yeah. Yeah, that's pretty much the explanation I'm gonna give there, to be honest. Um, is that yeah, she basically just she came from the Merry Melodies, and yeah, she was incorporated into the Freddy Fazbear's gang later on, and yeah, that's how she got her start. Now, now, before we go on to before we go on to my big conclusion and why the Mimic is so terrible, and really my biggest fucking issues with with I know there aren't too many more secrets around here, but let's look anyway. Other than the marionette doll, which I kind of forgot to talk about, but that's beside the point. Um, Nope, there aren't any other secrets I need to talk about. Alright, good. Alright, good. Because okay, this is my last warning before I get into total fucking, just screaming into the void territory about my big problem with Security Breach Ruin and Security Breach to a lesser degree. And, why this story is just so fucking terrible in my eyes. Yeah, a lot of my opinions are going to be, yeah, a lot of them are gonna be extremely negative. Only because, like, for as good as it was gameplay-wise, there were a lot of things with the actual fucking story that were done way worse. Way, way worse than they were in the original game. And the original game's story already has some major issues. But this one, oh my god. When this one just made those issues or rather, oh look, that's a little backpack. Where we at? But yeah, oh yeah, back to the, you know, main reason this game is on my shit list. Okay, so, let's talk about this. Let's talk about why Security Breach Ruin is so flawed in my eyes. Like, what really sent me over the edge? What about this ending to an alright mediocre story just made it all that much worse than the original actual, story, and just basically just tanked it all there, just jumped the shark and just went to just nonsensical territory here. So, my big problem has to all come down to the mimic. Yeah. Because, number one, the mimic's explanation for why it exists is flimsy at best. Like, apparently some Fazbear Entertainment engineer a long time ago wrote special OS that somehow developed sentience and became violent after being exposed to, extreme amounts of violence from the very person it created. It is never stated, well, okay, there are a few theories as to why it was created, who created it, but they're all just that, theories, and there is no real canon explanation as to why, it was built in the first place. So that's already the big issue. And it also breaks the continuity. And it also breaks the continuity massively, as the Mimic was supposedly created way back in like 1989, after the Beyblade 7 happened. Which actually was, in the most theories, the reason for this scientist creating it, is that he wanted to mimic his child, who allegedly died in, aforementioned Beyblade 7. But, it really breaks canon, especially when you consider that, one, the technology was just simply not there in any capacity. Like, it just wasn't there to create a machine this advanced, unless they were, like, using some weird super science and, like, experimenting with kids' brains, which, to be honest, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if that was the case. Given Fazbear Entertainment's and Axon's ethical record, let's just say. Yeah, I would be surprised at all if that was the case. But here's where it gets very But yeah, overall, just like the origins are just either complete super science, if the theories turn out to be true, or are genuinely just not explained at all. If they turn out to be false, which they most likely are false, because again, that kind of technology did not exist back in 1989. I mean, that was when people were using 386s. How could 386 code that level of code? Or, come up with something that level? But then again, super fluid animatronics and sister location were a thing, so maybe technology advanced a little faster than it did in our timeline in the FNAF timeline. I don't know. It's a big clusterfuck anyway. But yeah. Yeah. Overall, the origins just don't make sense. And number two, and more importantly, one, the mimic, uh, one, it invalidates the existence of quite a few things. It invalidates the existence of Glitch Trap, because Glitch Trap is no longer thought to be Afton. Like, it just completely just changes all that and retcons all that. It just completely retcons, Burn Trap being William Afton as well, despite it being originally canon. So yeah, it's just a big middle finger to everyone, and it's just a huge fucking retcon that was completely unnecessary and didn't make any sense whatsoever, especially because the boss fight in the original FNAF Security Breach was named the Afton boss fight. So yeah, that's the first really big issue with it. The second really, really ginormous issue with it is that it completely defeats the purpose of Cassie coming down here. Knowing that was some mimic all along makes it feel just completely empty. It makes her entire journey feel pointless. And also, it muddles the canon up even more because, how did... because in the ending where, because in the ending where we saw, everything collapsing, it didn't show Gregory and Freddy escaping to a door. No, it showed Gregory and Freddy escaping and hiding somewhere. So, it also has a whole other layer of how did Gregory get out and where is he now? And, it also again defeats the purpose of coming down there in the first place. It just makes it feel empty. It just makes the entire thing just feel empty, and like there just wasn't enough, or there wasn't, any satisfying reason to come down, or, it just, I don't know, it just doesn't, it just makes it feel all the more cheaper. All the more cheaper. And it's just, and the way it's executed is just really badly done. With how it just leads you in, and, yeah. And then you get exposed to the mimic, and then you just run, and Gregory is not there and all that. It's just, I don't know. It's just weird. Weird and just very self-defeating. Um, you know, just a very, very self-defeating game. Not gonna lie. But yeah, a very, very self-defeating game with a lot of core issues here. Honestly, here's what I think should happen. Here's how I think it should have been done. In my ideal ruin, instead of just cutting Gregory out altogether, what they should have done is they should have, had where we rammed the forklift through, and then we free Gregory, and then William Afton. Yes, that's right. The William fucking Afton comes out, and or the remnants of Burn Trap, whatever's left of him, or whatever other thing William Afton now resided in after being mauled to death by the blob, comes out, and we have to fight him once again. But because we can't fight him anymore, now we have to just lure him through, and then go up the cave here, then lure him all the way to yeah, all the way to this area. And then lure him to the scooping room, press the button, and boom. You know, that's how it should have ended. That is how this all should have ended. It's not with some big ass, um, you know, it's not, with us discovering that it was a mimic all along, and having to deal with all that, but rather with us rescuing Gregory and taking him to safety, all while also trying to escape William Afton. Oh yeah, and one more thing about the ending that doesn't make sense. How did Roxanne get down there so quickly? Especially because we just killed Roxanne. Like, that completely invalidates Roxanne's death. Like, they just completely retconned it in the same game. And it makes no sense. And, yeah, it's just even more nonsensical. And, oh my god, I don't even... Oh, where do I even begin on that? Where do I even begin? Where do I even... Oh my god. But yeah. Yeah, it's just another Cawthon rule cool, I guess. But yeah, as I said, what we should have done was, the way they should have handled it was, by having us rescue Gregory, lead to safety, and then escape William Afton and make sure that he's done for once and for all. Make sure that he is actually fucking done for instead of just leaving him to die. Or rather just, leaving him to just... Rather, just instead of just, having him just still be fully intact and able to hurt us some more. So yeah, that is pretty much what we should have actually done, to be honest, with that. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know. This game's a mess. That's all I'm gonna say. A very messy ending to a very messy DLC to a very messy game. So, what do you think of this map? Well, aesthetic-wise, oh my god, I fucking love it. Like, not only do the water parts look good and the cave parts look, pretty decent, but but this whole aesthetic just reminds me so much of Fallout. Just this post-war kind of a just kind of post-destruction look, post-apocalyptic look that I dig. It's just fucking awesome. And it just looks just so like everything just looks very good. The textures look pretty decent. I mean, the Ripper, or rather the person who poured this, did have some issues. But I think that's more of an Unreal to Unity conversion thing and not so much a thing on their part. Kind of like how all the texture issues on the Atrium was the same thing. So I think that's more of just an Unreal issue, or just a porting issue in general. Optimization, I had some questy friends on earlier. They reported very minimal issues with it. So perfectly playable for most. You shouldn't have any issues. There shouldn't be any weird artifacting, bugging, any of that shit. going on. Yeah, everything should be pretty all right. As far as bugs and all that are concerned. Um, and level design. This is more of a steel wool thing, less of a developer thing. But level design, there are a lot of weird choices. Let's just say that. There are a lot of weird choices with the level design that Steel Wool themselves have made, not so much the person who poured it. Like, for instance, this entire unused part up here. I don't know if we were supposed to go down there at one point, and then they changed their mind or what, but yeah. Doesn't make any sense. And also this is the worst offender of all of it, though. This fucking bear right here that should be there. There's no projector, but somehow he's still there. That is the worst fucking offender of any of it. But yeah. What's my overall score for this map? 8.7 out of 10. Only because of, one, the issues with the tunnel, which should have been just a quick teleport, and two, more importantly, the lack of any ramps, but also, just the issues with the DLC's ending itself. Just because, here's my bottom line about this map. Is a terrible ending in itself, but at least it's ported well. Hey, like a decent little hangout area. So I would recommend people actually come here, even if, is a very shitty ending to a game that I wouldn't consider even good. At most, I would consider it okay at best. With a lot of explanations for shit that just don't make any sense. So yeah. Not gonna lie, it's got some issues. So yeah, anywho, so that's pretty much it for this stream. Now, what will I be doing next week? Obviously, this Friday I don't have a stream because I did the stream tonight, and this Saturday, because Super Stream Saturday is suspended for now, I don't have anything going on either. So it's all gonna be probably next Monday or Tuesday when I'll do another stream. And when I do it, it'll probably either be more VRChat or more or more Honkai, depending on whether or not my PC's feeling up to more Honkai. Because I did get, everything straightened out there, so I should be able to stream more Honkai pretty soon. And hopefully there's actually some shit going on that is more than just, just a weekly event. So, yeah. But I gotta get going. I can't stay here forever. Well, actually, it probably will be another weekly event, but at least it will give us something that is VRChat to look forward to. But so yeah. But anyway, I gotta get going. I can't stay here forever. You pretty much get the drill. So yeah, thank you all for watching this wonderful stream here. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, night, week, whatever. And I will see you all next week for whatever I have planned on either Monday or Tuesday. So yeah. Good night, everyone. Stay classy, everyone, and good night. And I'll see you all next week for whatever I have planned on either Monday or Tuesday, depending on when I actually stream again. So yeah, see you there, everyone.